Are you ready for more? On today's episode, we talk about what that looks like and what to look out for.
Welcome to Heartful Beings, where we bring loving, grounded, and practical perspectives to living a heart-centered life with Janet Uribe and Milena Rodriguez.
This is the place where we have heart-centered conversations and share our own experiences about all things spiritual while keeping our feet on the ground. Take what resonates and nourish your soul.
Welcome back, guys. So many new things happening right now. Energetically, we feel so many pieces moving. I'm sure if you are listening to this episode right now, you've been having tons of vacillation in your life. But today's episode is mostly centered around, what do you do when you're ready for more? So Milena and I were talking right before we get on. Of course, we go through all of our bullshit and miracles right before we meet with you guys. By the way, I have a new puppy too that you can see that. But basically, we go through all of it. And as we're learning and we're having our own experiences, we come in and we share with you guys. So ready for more. My last 72 hours with various clients and friends and so on has mostly been focused around the fact that I'm just ready for the next step. I'm just ready for the universe to show me more. I just want to know who I am. And even my own self, doing it with my partner, as you guys often hear me being like this with my partner, poking his side, being like, you don't see me for who I am. So Milena, you bring forward your part, girl, because then we'll go in our banter and our back and forth about it. But yeah, it's been hilarious watching myself in it. And then recognizing that truthfully, when we're ready for more, you actually have to acknowledge where you are first before you can even get the more. Because if you're not even seeing what you have now, either from a state of gratitude or what you've accomplished thus far, or what you've managed to create thus far, or what you've learned thus far, or what skill set you've earned so far, then wanting more is actually functioning from lack.
Yes. Oh my God, from the lack. So many things are coming in right now, but it's like, I don't even know where to start now because there's like so much coming in about this. First thing that we were talking about before we got on was the self-worth issue that you just touched on for a second, right? Then there's the lack coming from a place of lack or old belief systems that just haven't been broken down yet. And then, things that we'll also talk about today is that taking the inventory of how far you've come to get to that place of gratitude. So I've experienced literally all of those in this 1 week, like leading up to this event that I'm doing tomorrow. Whenever we say yes or signing up to something big, okay. And by big, it doesn't have to be like a huge monumental step in your life that's going to be like life-changing, altering, sometimes it's just saying yes to like, sure, I'll do this event for you, or sure, I can help you do something, or sure, whatever that may look like in your life. But I went through negative belief systems. Okay. As much work as I've done, like the doubt and the self-worth was coming up big time in the last like 72 hours. Like, do I deserve this? Should I do this? Have I earned this? Is it even worth my time doing this? And then self-sabotaging behaviors. Well, if I just cancel now, it won't be that big of a deal, right? Even though deep down in my heart, I really wanted to do this event. And then I had to think, why is all this coming up for me right now? Because this is part of these next steps that I've been asking for, right? I'm telling the universe, bring me, bring me, bring me. And then it shows up and I'm like, oh shit, hold on. Is this really what I wanted to do? Is this really what I want? So we all experience this, right? And I think the first part of this for me, when Janet got on with me earlier and we were talking, is that she's been going through this also with her clients. And almost all of my clients right now, we all are starting from a place of like the breaking down this idea that we're worthy, that we've earned everything that has come into our lives. And let's just take a moment and just do that inventory. Like every single thing I studied in school basically has served a purpose, or every job I had, even like the weird, I worked at a doggy daycare once in college. It was really fun. Like you learn these skills along the way and everything that you do, and it all does serve service for you. So, I don't know, Janet, you want to get into like that self-worth part of this conversation, because we say we want the next step and then it'll challenge us in our beliefs and, of how we feel about ourselves.
Yeah. It's really fascinating, right? Because like I could sit here and use the dog to talk about this, right? I say I want the dog. All right, I want the dog. So the amount of steps that had to like come into play in my life for me to make room for the dog, to have a place for the dog, to have the mental capacity for the dog, to have an environment that suits the dog. I have 2 dogs now, by the way. You know, it was kind of bumpy for a minute. So I was laughing because right as Melena and I were getting on here talking about it, and you know, I always talk about explosions. I was laughing because they were kind of mimicking my energy, and they say, you know, sometimes you say you're ready for more, you're ready for the next step. And then when we bring it in, you guys are like, tuck my tail. Oh my God, that wasn't what I was expecting. You know, I want more abilities. Well, guess what? You want to really see more about your abilities, then you're going to have to remove the filtration systems that are in the place from actually receiving your abilities.
Yes.
Another friend that I talked with today, she and I are very similar as in the fact of like the doing. So a lot of our clients that come to us, they come to us to learn how to become doers. Her curriculum and my curriculum are more similar of learning how to sit and stay to receive. So it's fascinating because all of these traumas of how we act and how we behave are really, really stem from our childhood of wanting to feel enough, of wanting to have the worth. And so that the act of not doing in stillness doesn't resonate to help prove what we're trying to believe about ourselves, that we're worth it. But the truth is, you know, what the fucking phenomenal, amazing truth is, the last 4 or 5 times I have sat still in stillness, in vacation, in self-love, and just accepting things as they are, you know, like the most amazing opportunities came to my plate.
Yeah.
Like I was asked to be in a magazine that went to 40,000 homes where I got to share my family and my business, right?
Yeah.
So it's fascinating how really the universe is setting all of these next step pieces. I'm ready for more pieces as when you're honoring what your curriculum is and pinpointing what is there to serve you. So I'll give you an example. I feel like I hogged the mic, Melena. Is that okay?
No, keep going.
I'm like, girl,
no,
I got a good one.
Yeah, go.
Some time ago, I've been intuitive most of my life, and I've known things that other people didn't know and could see things other people couldn't see, but I haven't been taking ownership of it. So I told my mentor a long time ago, I was like, I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready for all of it. Just bring it. And she was like, be careful what you wish for, because there's a certain amount of curriculum you have to go through to prepare for that. But then in addition to that, she was saying, you're already not seeing how you're doing what you want to be doing. So I had to start taking inventory. I teach children intuitively for a living. I just meet them and know what they need. And I had to see, oh, wait, if I were to be a medium, then that means I have to be able to execute proper boundaries, both in this world with children and in the other, with the extra over there. If I am a medium, it means I have to be an excellent communicator and know which questions to ask to screen for this individual and their purpose and their intention and why they're here. If I am to do these pieces as the healer, then I have to be able to meet someone where they are and validate their existence. If I am to create a whole other business platform where I help thousands or millions of other people, then I actually have to be able to do that in the intimacy of one individual and change their life trajectory. In addition to that, I have to take ownership and say, I catalyzed that. Yes, they found me. Yes, they sought me. Yes, their parents invested for it to happen. But I actually have to also stand in a level of arrogance of, I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
So what's fascinating is I have all these pieces in one business, but as I've been sitting, stepping up with you, Melena, and starting to be like, okay, we know this about ourselves. We know we're intuitive. We know we're healers. We know this about ourselves, but I haven't been standing in it with the same level of knowing. So that I'm not actually seeing how I can do both that here in the current style of education business that I have, where I do very well and I'm very successful and manage quite a bit for myself and others. And I just haven't been seeing that that's actually who I am over here in this business as well.
And I also want to tell you, Janet, because we're people that are driven and we want to know answers and we know that we're capable of so much, that we then sometimes get into judgment of, why am I not there?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so as I've developed my mediumship skills and my spiritual skills, and kind of what I was talking about, taking that inventory, because I was a therapist in a past lifetime. I was a restaurant manager in another lifetime, basically at this point. All of those skills served purpose to now what I'm doing now with these new platforms that we're developing and new events that I'm signing up for and things that I'm really putting myself out there. So the key component to all of that, what you just highlighted too, is knowing that you're worthy of it.
Yeah.
And that you're already, doing it. And a lot of you guys out there may not believe it, but y'all are doing this too without realizing that you are highly intuitive. I mean, a lot of you guys that found us are probably already have some spiritual principles or backgrounds, but if you are not and still brand spanking new and you still find yourself listening to us, you're doing it. We're receiving all the time. But what also Janet mentioned that came forth for me was, God, I used to like abuse myself, like self-abuse myself mentally when I did sit down. God, you're being so lazy. You should be productive right now. You should be doing something else. And like, even some of my girlfriends, I know we've talked about it too. They were like, God, I was just so lazy today, and talking about it like it was a bad thing.
Yeah.
I want all of you guys, if you are doing that to yourself and you had a lazy day, go celebrate that you gave yourself the time to like just look out the window, which is what I did yesterday afternoon. Janet was watching, my daughter, and my husband went to go pick her up, and they went to go run an errand, and I was in the house by myself. And I literally sat there looking at the tree outside. And I was like, wow, I haven't done this in a week. I haven't even given myself the time to receive. And I got a lot of great insight that I needed to hear that I wasn't even giving the spirit world, my higher self, whatever you want to call it, the opportunity to even get it in.
Yeah.
Because I'd been in go, 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 go mode because we just moved to a house. We're about to have a baby. There's this huge to-do list. But the downtime, the lazy time, and I'm using air quotes if you're not watching, is just as important in that whole picture.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Janet, like, yeah, what you're going through, and we want more, we want more, we want more, but are we allowing the more to find us?
Gosh. And then even more so, like recognizing that we are more.
Yeah, we're so much more
Yeah.
than we even see ourselves as, because all the time when I'm connecting and channeling or connecting with someone's loved one, the messages are very similar a lot of the times, where they want that loved one to understand how loved they are, how big they are, how powerful they are, and how they literally have the power to create whatever it is that they want. So when people come to me in pain and they're wanting to connect, that's almost always a very similar message.
Oh, absolutely.
That always comes across, is that we as humans, from so much self-conditioning, just don't think that we're worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and those ideas of worth come from various places, and they'll come from you. Am I being nice enough? Am I being kind enough? Like, that doesn't really apply. That's really not how it's viewed.
But you just helped me because I want to stop saying to my daughter, oh, that's not very nice. And it's like, I literally can't think of another phrase. And what did you tell me to start telling her the other day?
That was kind.
Or something else. What was the word?
Oh,
thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
When she has done something, instead of me saying, oh, you're being such a nice girl, because even that statement makes me cringe, but it just comes out because that's just what I say to a little girl or a little boy. But I'm going to start saying now, oh, that's just so thoughtful of you that you thought of me. It's thoughtful.
You can hear my puppy barking at me. She is trying to condition me to teach me that I should be on the floor with her rubbing her belly. So you're going to be hearing that for a second because we're not entertaining it right now. But that being the case, friends, yeah. So I mean, even this, like, what's next? I want more. It all comes from the same place of not enough niceness, the way we condition our kids to be nice, or society wants us to be nice. Also, it comes because someone decided at some point something wasn't nice. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to have to give her something. Here, right there. Okay. Sorry, we're live usually with these. Maybe we'll edit it. Maybe we won't.
I think we like to keep the mistakes in there because it's keeping it real.
Keep it real. Her name.
I'm sure y'all have already heard a couple of times in other episodes, which is funny, which I'm totally cool with.
Yeah.
But that conditioning. So it's like, we also talked about like the belief systems and like figuring out those belief systems that don't resonate with us anymore. Mm-hmm. And when we're wanting to know, where we're at and when we want more.
Yeah. And what we want, right? So I think that the idea that we want more, there might be more wisdom instead of saying, I want more, show me the next step. There might be more wisdom to say, help me see what I've already done.
Mhm.
Help me see where I already am enough. Help me see.
And build on that.
Yeah. Help me see the abundance. Because I think that even, right now I live in a phenomenal home. I can't even believe how much I keep accomplishing sometimes, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I have this beautiful tree and it's not going to fit in here much longer. Guess I need to get a bigger home. This one isn't big enough. I could just trim her. I could.
Yeah.
But it's really fascinating how I'll just like put all of these ideas of it needs to be this, it needs to be that, that's, newer this, nicer that, or whatever. But not even acknowledging how awesome it is right now.
Yeah.
And even at moments when it wasn't awesome, learning to use that moment to say, okay, well, this is definitely programming what I don't want going forward.
Yep. Yep.
So when we want more, friends, it can be easy to get lost in the paradigms of not enough. It can be easy to get lost in the paradigms of I'm not feeling stimulated, but you could also just ask, show me. Show me. We sometimes forget that we can call our peeps in, our guides, our loved ones, or our mentors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or our mentors.
Yeah. I feel like our spirit guides and like, they get so excited when we talk to them. They get so excited when we acknowledge them. They get so excited, like, oh yeah, like put us to work in a way, because that's what they're there for. And if you don't believe in some of this stuff, totally get it. The practice is still the same. Looking at where you're at, taking that inventory. And then if you still find yourself with those kind of belief systems or thought patterns that are like, you're knocking yourself down on a daily basis, going into that, leaning into that, figuring out, where did this first come from? Who do I need to forgive? And y'all, the answer is almost always the self. Somewhere along the line. Sure, people have hurt us. Okay, people have done some horrible things in this world. But have we forgiven ourselves for the traumas that we went through, or that horrible hamster wheel of, well, if I wasn't there, it wouldn't have happened, or I shouldn't have done that, I knew better, why did I go back, or why didn't I leave soon enough, or whatever, those thought patterns, it all served a purpose to get you where you're at.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So wanting to know what's next, we're always going to strive for more, right? We're always going to want more, right?
Yeah.
But keeping that practice of, look at where I got and how far I've come and what I've done to get here, and staying in that energy, like, makes things happen, I think, faster almost.
Absolutely.
It builds.
Yeah. So I think, identifying, it's a good place. I think we've talked about identifying what you want before. And, you can identify what you want by what you don't like currently. But as it relates to more, guys, just seeing that you are more, just acknowledging that you're much more than you could possibly understand or see or perceive through this mechanism, through these eyes. The mechanism I'm pointing to, for those of you who are just listening, I'm pointing to my head, right? The head sometimes makes some decisions that aren't necessarily true.
Yeah. And that's why, stepping into the heart. So like, my head was playing some tricks on me this week. There's a lot of belief systems, a lot of patterns, a lot of things I was saying to myself, a lot of conversation I was having with myself. And then whenever I remembered, that's one thing, I just got to remember to do this. It doesn't always happen because we're all human, to drop into the heart and ask the heart the question, is this actually something you want to do? And the answer was immediately yes. Like, yes. So it's like, cool. Now all this other mess I need to kind of sort through and see what it's showing me, or what areas of my life I need to give more attention to. And the sleep was one of them, or like the relaxation and the quiet time was definitely one of them. And then going back to that self-worth, always, am I doing things to belong, or am I doing things for myself? Am I doing things to people please? Am I doing things because this is what I think I should be doing? The shoulds we've talked a lot about. So the heart ends up being, for me lately, the best compass.
Oh, absolutely.
Of like, which direction I need to go.
I think it is the best compass. It's always going to show you
Period.
which direction. It always is. The mind can help guide the actions and the steps that go with it.
Mine's tricky though.
Yeah. But, I think it's about still knowing that the heart creates the desire, the heart creates the intention, the heart can actually tell the mind, hey, this is what we have to do to get there. But
Yeah.
sometimes what we'll do is we will become so calculated in the mind
Yeah.
that then we're like, nope, mine has to be the lead. And it does at some points. But yeah, the heart's a masterful, masterful creator if we sit down long enough to listen to it.
Yeah. So like if you don't even know what you want, because I know a lot of people think they know what they want, and it may not be in their best and highest good, but what is it that you do want? Right. Go into the heart is where I would ask or tell any client to go first, not into the mind. We don't need to rationalize or try to get logistics or try to talk ourselves into something, but when I go into the heart, I get a clearer message almost every time.
Heck yeah. I'm sorry, friends. I'm sure you can hear these pups. There's a whole line of pigeons. I don't know what the significance of pigeons is, but there's a bunch quite suddenly on the fence over here, which is funny. But yeah, my friends, I think we're at a good place.
Yeah.
But when you want more, when you're ready for the next step, when you're ready for the universe to show you more, either take inventory of where you are, acknowledge how much you are already, how much you've learned, gained, skill set, knowing, experiences, a life well lived first. And then the second you do, the universe is like, cool, she knows what's on her tool belt. Give her the next phase. Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautifully said. And always just drop into that heart. That's the best compass.
Absolutely. All right, my friends. Well, listen, you guys have a beautiful day. Thanks for sharing time with us. We would look forward to hearing some of your comments, phrases, whatever. Follow us on Heartful Beings on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. And guess what? Going forward, we're going to start having some more events in the near future.
Yes, we're so excited.
Stay tuned. We'll be having classes, collaborations, live streaming. So guys, so good of you to stop by. We love you so much.
Bye, everybody. If you liked what you heard today and want to see more about our offerings and gifts, please join our email list at heartfulbeings.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Heartful Beings.
Please note that our perspectives and views of the following content are ours and are not necessarily substitute to our holistic views and approaches to healing. Both of us believe in the numerous support tools available to all, which include and are not limited to therapy, mental health treatment, medical, prescription, and other types of traditional or alternative healthcare.